everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Tonight's going to be pretty diverse. We've got a new subject that a lot of y'all have been actually kind of asking if we wanted to do it, and tonight we are covering bike packing and bike touring. And we have one viewer coming on, a couple more. Y'all early tonight. And I am going to be kind of going solo for most of the show. Savea will be on, but get this. Savea's in Tokyo. She's in I think it's Disneyland, Japan, and she will be joining us for a short time at the beginning of the show to talk about her time in Japan. So, folks, we are not only going international, we're going multi like continental. We're going from halfway around the world, across the Pacific to Japan tonight to hear from Savea. That's going to be cool. So, anyway, admittedly, we were going to have to try to do another type of show, another subject this week, but unfortunately the guest had to bow out. Hello, Maya. Anyway, yeah, I'm eating snacks. We weren't able to get our guest on this week, and my co-host got sick because of that flu going around. So it is going to be me for most of the night, folks, but we've got some cool stuff. Y'all have been asking about the bike packing and bike touring show. Tonight is the night. I have been working on this a big chunk of the day. Matter of fact, I've got two bikes all laid out, whatever I meant to say, all laid out, ready for showing it with all the panniers and everything. So, going to be cool to share that tonight. And, of course, El Presidente of the Friday Ninja Monster Hunter Squad, Maya, says, hello, everyone. Please share, share, share. I'm going to do that right now by Maya's command. So, we have more people watching, tuning in. Let us know who you are, where you're from. And what you're seeing right now is bike packing. This is actually between Shirako Summit off the I-10, about 36 miles east of Indio, heading back to Indio. And this is a trip from last February. I played on the show before. We're going to do some more right now. I need to share, and I hope you folks are doing that too. Right now I'm trying to get, I got my regular cell phone. Come on, what is this thing? I got my regular cell phone in the backyard being with the bikes, and I'm trying to get this other cell phone to work. I love technical things. Okay, come on. Work for me. I'm trying to get to the share. I hope you folks are having an easier time than me right now. Okay, there we go. Looking. Okay, share. And I am putting down my regular. We are live for this. Usually it predicts a text, but I want to do it on this other cell phone. It doesn't work so quick. Of late, capitalize late night. Dang, you auto correct. And exclamation point. Okay, and I have officially shared. We're good. All right, folks. Let's see what the comments we got. We got a lot of people. Oh, wow. We got quite the crowd tonight, folks. Yes, talk about bike packing. If we have any new viewers, we got a lot of viewers right now tonight. Holy cow. We have quite the number. Popular show tonight. Anyway, so just repeat for everybody that's just coming on. I am flying mostly solo tonight. My co-host got sick, my guest co-host. And Savea, the regular host, will be tuning in a little bit toward the beginning of the show from Tokyo, Japan. And talk about her trip so far. She's been out there almost a couple of weeks. She'll be coming back in a few days. Gonna be cool. Okay. Apparently I missed the freeway. And guess who just joined us, folks? I'm bringing her in right now. Savea is here from Japan. She's tuning in from, if you're on West Coast time, it's, getting toward 10 o'clock. Savea is at 3 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. Hello, Savea.
Am I visible?
You're visible, but we haven't started the show. We're still in the 10-minute countdown. We still have 5 minutes to go.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Are you at Disneyland? Yeah, you're at Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo. So yep. Savea's here.
Yep.
Awesome. We're doing the show countdown right now. We're doing bike packing and bike touring tonight. The other subject we
Nice.
talked about was not going to work. I'll tell you later.
Well, since I have 4 minutes, I'm going to do some shopping.
Okay, Sylvia's going to go shopping. And the Wi-Fi is working pretty decent for halfway around the world. We got a comment from El Presidente. Thank you, everyone, for watching and being here. What kind of glasses are you wearing now?
Are these nice? You like them?
Yeah. Your Wi-Fi, you got a little bit
Okay.
better Wi-Fi because you look like you're streaming circa 2005.
Okay,
Maya's asking, what time is it in Japan? It should be 2:56 p.m. in Japan, isn't it?
yeah, it's 2:56. You like these ones?
Since you're in tomorrow afternoon, can you tell us
like
what the
these ones?
future's like?
These are actually really cute.
Are those Disney glass? Are
The
those mouse glasses?
future, it is going to, yes, they are cat glasses. So I can tell you the future is going to bring a lot of snacks and really great music.
Did you give me the samurai chopsticks?
They don't exist here.
I don't
They
believe
really
you.
don't. Hey, look at this. Look at. You like these ones?
I'm seeing that. We'll let the audience decide here in just about 3.5 minutes. Just to answer a couple questions from the audience, we have some new viewers. Hello, Cowboy, watching from YouTube, and Glenn Baker, GHB. What's going on here? This is a talk show we have every Friday. We started 5.5 years ago. We'll do our mission statement here in just a couple minutes. Right now, we got a countdown until we start our show. For the new people that I'm watching Savannah. For the new people watching on tonight, we were talking about bikepacking and bike touring and how you can get into it. How you can get into it and start your own adventure. And that's what we're seeing on our countdown screen right now. We have a lot of viewers tonight, Savannah.
Oh, that's great.
Judging from the time delay, we're definitely talking to you from you tomorrow afternoon.
I know. I'm telling you, my future is going to be bright. My future in
future's bright.
Disneyland is awesome.
What's the difference between Disneyland in Tokyo and the one in Anaheim?
So, you want me to talk about it now, or you want me to talk about it during the show?
During the show.
Yes.
Maya's asking, Savannah, if you see any cool Japanese postcards, grab me some, please. I will pay you back. And she's also asking for me for samurai chopsticks.
Yeah, there really are not any samurai chopsticks. I haven't seen them. I went to a couple really touristy shops. They don't have, believe me, if they had them, they would be there.
Gundam chopsticks?
You want custom?
No,
chopsticks?
Gundam.
Oh, I'd have to. I don't think I'm going to be going to the right shopping area for that because that's more of like an Akihabara thing.
Well, I'll take the closest thing you can find.
I'll look for something.
Okay, well, we got 1 minute and 5 seconds left. 50 seconds to count down. I'll do the countdown for you.
Okay.
All right. And that's the vision.
Yeah, this small world clock is saying it's 3.
I can hear a bunch of static. This countdown is going fast tonight, folks. We're about to have Sabay in a few seconds. Get ready for countdown, folks. Get ready to warm up. Warm up your countdown muscles. We're about to start. And we just lost Sabaya. She will be back. She will figure out a time warp back to us here a day before her, where she's at. Countdown starting at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Showtime. It's time for Late Night Craft Talk with hosts Savea Kamori-Yang and James Hermes. On this week's show, bikepacking and bike touring. Why can't a bicycle stand up on its own? Because it's too tired. It's time to start the show. And hello, folks. I am bringing on Savea. Get ready to say hi to Savea. Here's Savea from 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, being Saturday afternoon, time traveler in Tokyo, Japan. Savea. We've talked from other states. We've never talked from across the world.
Okay, let me see if I can make sure to maximize this because it's not. Okay. Hello, everyone. Well, you can see I'm at Tokyo Disneyland. This is their castle. It's a Cinderella castle. It's the same one that's at Walt Disney World. But yeah, so we're here. Like, I'm gonna literally turn around so you can see Carousel, Snow White Adventure, Small World, Peter Pan's over there. Yeah. Oh, and then Haunted Mansion is covered up by that wall of. Have you seen it? It's covered. There's a blue wall, the Dumbo wall, and then behind it is an additional they're refurbishing those 2 rides. So,
Gotcha. We've done this from hotel rooms. I've done it from a kayak in rapids before in the show, but this is new level. This is next level, but new. Sure. This is cool.
Make sure I show the castle in the background because it's more picturesque.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yes. But yeah, we actually had such an amazing trip so far. We went to the Tulip Needle Factory. That was amazing. There was so this is interesting. So one of their crochet hooks, one of their micro crochet hooks is for lace crochet. So some of those crochet hooks are 0.35 millimeters big. So if you guys know what a millimeter is, it's 0.35. So that is less than a millimeter size crochet hook. It's a really, really tiny one. It takes them 27 times of grinding down the point. They have to go 27 processes of going through grinding it down to a very, very fine point. It's amazing. We saw the annealing process, how they harden the needles. We saw the process of them plating the crochet hooks, and they plate the pins. We saw them injection molding the crochet hooks with the silicone handles. We got to go to their factory. They make micro probes for semiconductors. So I have a sample I can bring you guys. I can show you guys, but it's such a cool place. And it was amazing. Every single person in the factory had this little speech they prepared. It was really nice. And they don't get a chance to speak English very often, so they wanted everyone to practice speaking English. So that was kind of nice. And everyone, all of the owner, all of the family that owns the company, super duper nice, very nice people, very, very down to earth, nice people. And we went to the Toho bead factory, and we met the CEO, and the CEO personally gave us a tour of the Toho glass production and how it works. Very cool. I don't even know how it could have even gotten better. I love coming to Disney. Disney is my favorite. And we did go on the Beauty and the Beast ride, which was really awesome, right? But those 2 experiences of those tours was just phenomenal, just amazing. I can't wait to share everyone. We couldn't take pictures in the factory naturally because there are, they have a lot of proprietary machines, and so they don't want people, they don't want anyone to take pictures of the machine. So that's makes sense. It's a proprietary thing that they developed at their location. But it's been amazing. We've had an amazing time. Lots of yummy food. The shopping's awesome. I bought a whole bunch of beauty products. That was really great to try out. I'm excited
I want
about
some great
that.
products.
It snowed here while we were here a couple times. I got video of snow, and it was like the light kind of snow, not the kind where it sticks. So it was like a really lightweight snow. And when we were on the Shinkansen, which is their bullet train, we actually got delayed about 40 minutes because of snow. They had to clear the snow off the tracks, I believe, because the areas that we actually ended up being at, the snow was a good 2 to 3 feet overnight. So that was kind of crazy. But beautiful, beautiful country. I'm so happy to be here. And just a great experience. My mom's been doing good. She's been a trooper. She did walking with her walker, 25K steps a day. I'd say pretty much every day. She didn't complain too much. Oh my gosh, you know, it's really funny in the live video. It looks like my face and your face. If you put your face to the side, it looks like it's one face. But really, this has been just an amazing experience, and I hope you guys have a good show. I have to hop back in line in a moment because my two friends are in line for us, and my mom is waiting outside the line so that she can go into the line when they get to the front of the line. So,
Well, thank you for tuning in from to us in your past
yeah, I know, right?
across
But
the ocean.
I know. So my mom, like I said, she's been doing really good today. We actually did get her an electric scooter because her hand, actually, she has a swollen arm. I think it's because of just putting her weight onto the walker, and it put pressure on her wrist. So she has like a sore like forearm, and she's had this before. And the doctors, oh, it's Peter and Wendy. Oh my gosh, let me see if I can flip this. I
I
don't know if I can
definitely
flip
want to see some other people walking around. I love people watching.
I don't think I can flip it. I have Peter and Wendy. They're walking right behind me.
It's tricky from a cell phone. I've had to do this.
There's Peter and Wendy walking by. See them?
Yep.
Peter and Wendy. Oh, here's the mice from Cinderella's mice. That's a rare sighting. You get to see them very often. So yeah.
It seems like a lot of the people there, they're actually local to Japan, are wearing
Oh yeah.
bucket hats.
Yes, they're wearing these things where they're basically a big topper that's their character. I did get this one. This one is not that obnoxious. It's a Mickey Mouse, but it comes down into like a long, like Mickey glove.
Mickey gloves.
But
I
it's
still
like
want to see that when you get back.
you can wrap this around your neck like a scarf, or you can use it just to like put your hands in. So there's like a pocket for your hands.
You bought that there?
Yeah, I've
Oh,
seen this kind of stuff here in the U.S.
okay.
or in the U.S. before. I've seen this, but yeah, we've been having a good time. So anyway, I think that I would like for you guys to get going on your topic, but I just wanted to check in and.
All right. Thank you for doing that. I know it's you're the happiest place on earth talking to some of the people that are happy for you right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, one of the happiest places on earth. It's not the Colorado River.
Well, there are a lot of really happy people here. It is really just wonderful. Oh, we're going to go on Small World with Groot today.
With who?
Groot. You know Groot. I am Groot.
Yes.
He
like
is
Groot.
actually inside Small World.
Oh, cool. Yeah. The real Groot?
Yes.
Baby Groot, teenage Groot, or original Groot?
It's Baby Groot. And we did go on the Beauty and the Beast ride. It was amazing. Really amazing.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, I got to run because I'm getting a notification that I actually have a notification that I'm supposed to be going back to line.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone from Japan. See you soon.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
All right. See you. We'll talk in a couple days. That was cool. Yeah. We've done things from all over the place, but not from across the ocean or halfway around the world, however you want to term it. But thank you, Severe, for joining us. That was way cool. Now to start the rest of the show on this one. All right. We're 10 minutes into the show now, or being live, and I still have to do the mission statement. Welcome to Late Night Craft Talk, a show put on collaboratively between Dancing Bear Indian Trader out of Escondido and Elk Rack Traders out of Indio, both Southern California businesses. We started the show back in April 2020 during the pandemic for some due, and a lot of people watching us, and we interviewed a lot of great people, inspiring, and just try to just let people know and give you entertainment because we're all walled up. And here we are 5.5 years later and still going strong. So here we are. We do this almost every Friday night, and we're live again from 2 different parts of the world for a short time. Anyway, time to do some catch up. So let's get the business done and get onto the subject, because I am slowly, and I'm going to go ahead and just show it right quick. That's the bike cam. I'm watching that because I'm really paranoid, because there's a lot of gear on those bikes, and I will be going out there showing those and the gear on them and what they're used for. That's my gravel bike and fat bike or mountain bike. We'll be coming back to that. Anyway, I'm kind of watching because I want to make sure that, they're seeing my backyard with lights on them. Okay. Well, hello, Wendy Hodge. Hello, Maya. All the viewers coming in. Wendy says, I just got to do the switchboard operator thing. Wendy says, hi, Maya. All right. We got those highs out there and on with the show. So quickly, we're getting into powwow season. It's getting to the end of May, or who else is time traveling right now? Anyway, so we're getting on to the end of January, almost into February. It's only like a week and 2 days away or so. So we do have a bit of a powwow schedule to let everybody know about. So let's go ahead and show that right quick. And I love StreamYard sometimes. Okay, just a quick go over this right quick. It's tomorrow in Palm Springs High School, Singing the Birds, put on by the Agua Caliente Cultural Association or Cultural Museum. And Elk Rack Traders will not be there. It's indoors. I can't do indoor shows. Y'all know that. A lot of our viewers. So just because of the noise sensitivity thing. And that is happening tomorrow. We also have coming up the 28th annual Wild Horse Powwow. This is usually the powwow that marks the beginning of the season in Southern California. January 31st and February 1st. So coming up next weekend. And that'll be at El Camino College and Manhattan Beach Boulevard in Torrance, California. Next one we have coming up. This is all local to me, too. This is actually the California Indian Nations College Presents. This is actually on the satellite campus of Cal State San Bernardino in Palm Desert. This is only like 18 minutes from my house. I love strong supporter, love what they do. They're having their gathering under the stars on Saturday, February 14th from 4 to 7 p.m. If you're in the Coachella Valley or want to come down for our beautiful, absolutely great weather we're having right now, come on down, check it out. And then we have the Yuba Sutter Winter Powwow, February 21st in Maryville's Youth Center in Maryville, California. Just happens to be like all the powwows happen to be in California right now, usually cover nationwide. And we also have the Southwestern College 3rd Annual Powwow, February 28th. Coming up, powwows are got to mention this. Don't forget the Muppet Show special. It's like the 40th or 45th anniversary coming up, like February 14th. It's coming up the next couple of weeks, folks. Don't forget the Muppet special. I had to add that to the powwow schedule. All right. So a little catch up. We did have a 2-week hiatus, and because Surveyor's course in Japan, I was on the river last weekend. Y'all like me to show the pictures of what we did. So I did a group trip. Usually I'm solo my last couple months, but this is an annual trip put on by friend of the show, Helen Howard, and got to show this. So let's see, how do I do this? Where are you? There it is. Okay. So this is the group we were with. You can see Helen Howard right there, third person in starting from the right, along with a couple of scouts from my Boy Scout Venture Cream came on this. A great group of people we had last weekend. There were 12 of us. You can see me right there about toward the middle next to a guy in the lime green named John J. Super cool dude. Steve Searin, got to see him. He's dude in the blue. Second in from the left with his 2 kids. I haven't got to see Steve in a few years. I loved visiting with him. So on with some of the sites we have. Now, these pictures are a combination, mostly Steve Searin's that he shared with our group and John J. I've only got like one I put in here. And just the views of this place. I've shown it before, but these are new angles, new ways of doing photography that I don't usually do. and great sharing with it. But our boats on Sunday morning, some of the side hikes, I didn't do these. These are pictures from Steve Siren. And just, dude, the dude is so amazing with photography. He's a real estate photographer up in Los Angeles. If you want to look for somebody, message me. I'll get you his information. The dude is amazing with photography, and he kicks it with real estate photography. Picacho Peak in the distance right there. Another side hike we did with our group. And the stars out there are amazing. It's a clear night. You're guaranteed to see the Milky Way. And that's our group fire on Saturday night at a place called 4S. Right along the river, you can see a fuzzy picture, but you can see the Colorado River right there. And just to share a couple more, that's yours truly right there in the picture on the left, looking at a seep forming a small pond in an oasis. This is about 2.5 miles from the Colorado River, up a canyon that we had to hike to, and just neat sharing that because you hike through this desert, there's nothing, there's nothing, and then boom, Slot Canyon, oasis. We call it burro oasis because we saw a lot of burros on the way. We always see burros over there. And amongst the wildlife we did see were lots of burros. And they're all over the place. You will not necessarily see them on a trip, but you sure as heck will hear them in the morning at night. And a couple sightings of those. And that's the pictures we have. Just a quick update on the medical career for me. New thing. So usually I go out and I talk about industry medicine, and I have never mentioned the group I volunteer with. Got to finish this business. We're on the good stuff. I wanted to share that. Okay, don't have a picture of it. Anyway, so yesterday I was doing representing Coachella Valley Volunteers in Medicine. That's the group I volunteer with at an information booth at a resource fair put on by Indio Police Department. First time I've ever done that. I've done information booths, but not like that. Not usually involves scouts or most of the time business or outdoor recreation activities where I usually show. First time I ever used business equipment to show resources for people that are underinsured and not insured. And there's a certain satisfaction to be able to help people in that way, just giving you information. And it was cool. I really enjoyed it. Got to meet some new people from other volunteer organizations that help people that are economically disadvantaged, and really cool, but fun story from that. There are groups representing Medi-Cal, veterans groups to help veterans that are they're unhoused, and mental health resources and whatnot. And next to us were a couple of different groups for mental health organizations to help with that. But you can always tell the medical people because it was staffed by a person that's a third year medical school, myself, and another person like myself that's looking to go do a PA school in the next couple of years. And we started talking medical stuff. All right, y'all, just hold your stomachs. We're talking medical stuff that includes, dissection, injuries, open wounds. We started talking about that. And just our general conversations, what we have in common, we're doing that. And the person next to us that was listening to our conversation throughout the day had this look on their face. So I don't think they were a fan of our topics. Anyway, fun story to share from that yesterday. All right. Let's get on two tires and talk about touring. Folks, here's the subject of the show, 10:20. We're right on time, what we need to do. So I'm going to talk about, in tonight's show, y'all been requested, this is probably our most requested topic from y'all for the last few months, is bike packing and bike touring. So I'm going to be talking about giving just the basics about this and then what the differences are, what you need, and then we will go over and look at those bikes in my backyard right now all lit up. So let's get on the topic here. Bike packing and bike touring. First of all, a little background right quick so y'all can understand what types of bikes I'm talking about. This is a gravel bike. It looks like a road bike, but it's got slightly wider tires. And the front fork, that thing that's holding the front tire right there, the frame, those are called front forks. They can be made of carbon. They're designed to be kind of take shock. And they have kind of definitely wider tires, maybe 2-inch tire, up to 2-inch, 2.25-inch tire, which is really wide. While a regular road bike will have narrow tires. and there's not as many gears right there where the pedals are at, called cassette, front cassette, and the gearing's slightly different. They're designed for taking on rougher conditions and even light off-road, light single track, not crazy sand and stuff, but that's a gravel bike. You see those little screws around it? Those are called attachment points. A little more background. This is a road bike. You can see those skinny tires, and you can see all those different gearing and stuff like that. The different little, different rings right there on the front and rear cassette. Different gearing, much more gears. So you can see the difference in the road bike. The handlebars are called drop bars. And this is a mountain bike. That's primarily what I ride until the last few months when I got the gravel bike. So you can see it's got front shocks. This one is full suspension. It's actually got a suspension for the back. So when you're on really rough terrain, it won't rattle your teeth or break your back as quick. And it's got a much wider tires. Like my mountain bike's full suspension, it's got 2.5-inch tires. And the fat bike you're going to see outside has actually got 3.5-inch tires. It's designed for snow and definitely sand. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, bike touring. So this is the bikes used for bike touring. Those things on there, you can see my bike on the right, another setup on the left. Those things are those bags hanging from the front, and the front tires and the back are those big sacks are called panniers or panniers if you want to say it correctly, but USA, we say panniers. And then stuff on the back rack, there's a rack over the tire that the panniers hang from, panniers, whatever. And stuff on the back. It's designed to carry more gear. Inside the frame, you got those 2 red water bottles. Around mine, you've got what's called a frame bag. And you can see the panniers on there on what's called a trunk bag behind the seat. Okay, got to get that lingo so you know what I'm talking about with this stuff. All right, bike packing. This is designed for off-road. Bike touring is more on-road, established routes. Bike packing is going off-road. It's like backpacking trips, but you got all your stuff's on a bike, not in a backpack on your back. All right, difference between the two. Got to get this established, folks. So you can see bike packing versus bike touring. I'm just going to go over a few of the main points. Bike packing uses lightweight, compact gear attached to the bike frame and the handlebars and seat post. Bike touring uses larger panniers and racks for carrying stuff, much like bike packing. And bike packing ideal for off-road, while bike touring typically follows established roads and paved roads or urban paths, bike trails. And typically on bike packing, you use mountain bikes or gravel bikes. Bike packing usually use a hybrid. That would be a gravel bike, or you could even use a road bike. Accommodations for bike packing, you're camping in a tent. You're in the backcountry. While bike touring, you can camp in a tent like KOA, county campground. You can also do what's called credit card camping, getting hotels. So you can have that and usually have established routes. You know where you're going. You're following established roads or trails. While you're definitely got to have some navigation skills for bike packing. And then bike packing focuses more on outdoor adventure, challenging environments like riding mountains or deserts, like you saw in our show countdown video, and focus on exploration. While you can definitely explore bike touring, but it's more for there's more long distance involved typically. And you can go to popular, tour spots and visit different, towns. If you're over, like, say, bikepacking, Baja California, you can visit small towns and kind of experience the culture of Mexico right there, or even other places, Europe and whatnot. Europe's a very popular bike touring destination. All right. So we got that out of the way. We want to catch up. We've got some audience comments right quick I want to catch up with. Cool pics from the trip. See a lot of bikes going through the basin here. Wendy says we see a lot of bikes going through the basin here. She lives in 29 Palms with all the gear on them. The thing about Southern California, I didn't know this until about halfway through last year. Actually fall 2024. Southern California in general is considered a bikepacking mecca during the winter and early spring and fall. It's a real popular place to go through the desert because you're not going to fry like we start doing in like March. So yeah, you're going to start seeing that. And places like 29 Palms and going through Joshua Tree, this is what's called the desert circuit. goes right through 29, is super getting popular the last couple years. And so, yeah, Wendy sees that a lot. We talk about it. It's neat to see that. Okay. So on with this. Now we got established what types of bikes are involved. What is bike touring? What is bike packing? Now we're going to start focusing on how you can do an adventure. Now that we established those parts and what panniers are, what kind of bike and what kind of goes onto them, we'll go in more detail on that. So now imagine I want to get into bike touring or bike packing. I want to do a trip on the bike, whether it be road or trail or both. So you got to think, what can I do? First thing you ask yourself is, well, I'm trying to look for the little button. Here it is. Where to go? You got to choose a route. What am I going to do? When I did my first trip, it was actually, and I've talked about it, I actually brought a pack raft and strapped it to a mountain bike to it. And then when I got to my destination, I strapped the pack raft, folded it up, and strapped it to the bike. I had a hybrid trip. But my second bike packing trip, I went from Joshua Tree, Choya Gardens, all the way back to my house here in India, about 75 miles. And that was my route. So what you want to choose is you want to go bike packing, and you want to know if it requires advanced navigation skills. You definitely need to have flexibility. I definitely hit a lot of problems and, due to inexperience my first few trips. Bike touring benefits from well-documented routes that we talked about, but both of these types can be done as an overnight or multi-day trip, locally or an extended trip. I'd recommend, if you're just getting into this, you want to do locally, you could just ride to a county park. You can ride to a place that's got primitive camping. Give it a try. You don't have to ride 50 miles. You can ride some places. If you're close to some wilderness, you can ride that fewer 10 miles. Make it easy. And now, if you got a place you want to go, you choose a route. Okay, I want to do that. I want to ride to such and such, spend the night, and then ride back to my house, or ride here and ride there and do a giant loop. So you got your route picked out. Next, you got to figure out choosing the route. You got to do the planning. Where to go, choosing a route. Okay. That was supposed to be a different slide, but we'll go with it. Visit websites that specialize in bike packing or bike touring routes to help you choose one to go, or ones that you know are established that you've seen, to learn more about it. If you want to get more there's questions you don't have and you want to get firsthand knowledge. A lot of times local bike shops will have employees that know about this because they love bikes and they do this themselves. Been there, done that with the local bike shops where I live, to the point that they roll their eyes when they see me come in sometimes. But ultimately, just pick a destination and just start planning what you need to go to make it happen. And remember, if you can walk or drive there, you can also take a bike. So don't think, oh, that place is too exotic, but I can hike there. Well, the trails allow it because it's got multi-use trails. Take the bike. Just pick a place and figure out what you want to do. And now with that comes planning. This is the slide I thought I was going to have. Now, choose the right style for your goals, whether you need to go with a touring setup or a bike packing setup. Bike touring, you can take more gear. It's considered, a little bit longer. You can take a little bit more luxuries, more clothes, whatnot. Bike packing, you're limited. You're going to have to go with a kind of a pretty much a minimal setup. And then route selection, research, training, and preparation. Don't just put the bike together and just go, let me do this right quick. Don't just put the bike together and just go off and do it. You need to practice your setup. When I did my first bike rafting trip, I was riding 10 and 20 mile days around town with all this stuff on it. People were like, what? All this stuff. I was riding the same loop, bike trip, bike pass, and whatnot, with all this stuff piled on the bike. I don't know what my neighbors thought of me when I come riding out of my neighborhood 3 or 4 times, sometimes 5 days a week, just practicing to make sure that I don't have what's called epic gear failure. Where, like, say, a pannier comes loose or this comes loose when you need to tighten and go, whoops. And that's why you're close to home and you have somebody to give you a ride back if you really have epic gear failure. So with that, going back here, look at training and preparation. Train for the trip you want. If there's a lot of hills to climb, practice climbing hills. There's definitely a technique to it. And then ultimately, the most important stuff, your safety and your logistics. How do I get back home? What do I do when I get there? Where can I refill on water? Those kind of logistics. And, like, do I need to have the bike shipped someplace? Can I be driven back? What's there's a ferry involved, whatnot. Those are the kind of things, or even the hotel you go to, if they allow bikes, or if you have to keep, they can bring it in your room, or if you keep it outside. If you keep it outside, I'd get pretty insecure about theft. So there's that. All right. Next thing we will look at is gear. What the heck do I bring on these trips? Well, if you've ever gone camping, here you go. If you've ever gone camping, you don't want to bring your stuff that you use to go car camping. A big ice chest is hard to fit on a gravel bike with fresh sticks and stuff. There's tricks with soft side coolers, but that's more advanced stuff. So, you want to take definitely stuff that's designed for backpacking equipment, because you're backpacking with the bike, whether it's touring or bike packing. So with that, here's actually a picture of all the stuff that can fit on the bike. This is more for bike packing, but a lot of the equipment's interchangeable. All that stuff fits on this bike. Now, this one doesn't have panniers on the back. It's got what's called a saddle bag. Those can be, folks, sorry, I'm going to do metric. These can be 5, 10, or even 12 liters. They stick sometimes way out this back. It's the latest thing with bike packing. That way you don't have to mess with panniers. It keeps kind of a narrow profile if you're running single track, which is a really narrow trail, because so the panniers won't be hitting bushes and stuff. If you have panniers, the bike's wide, you could be hitting bushes. Narrow setup, that's makes a little more, a whole lot more aerodynamic. But you got the bike rack, and I'm going to bring a little mouse right here. Well, you won't see the mouse. You got a bike rack, safety equipment. You can see the pad, the drinking bottles, first aid kit, all that stuff you need for camping. And you can see the frame bag on there. And to the right of it, you can see another style frame bag. And all that stuff, camera equipment, all that. Now, that's what you use for bike packing. Seat covers, rain covers. Let's just say clothes aren't real extensive. You might have 2 changes of clothes, and that's it. Okay. Got to catch up on comments. From Wendy Hodge. I don't know about gear failure, but I'm pretty sure I'd have knee failure. One reason I got into bike packing is because I started getting into trail running, and we'll get to Maya's comment here in a second. But I got into bike. A friend of mine told me, if you're getting into running, you can do the sand, but if you're really to do this and you still have knees at your age, and I'm 51, you still have knees, which I do. He said, get into biking. It's going to save your knees and you'll get all the cardio and stuff. And as it turns out, he just said that to get me into mountain biking, but it's true. That's one reason I got into biking, save my knees. Okay. So back to this. You can see the gear involved: sleeping bag, tent, emergency beacon, camera, drinking cup, cooking kit. And all this is specific to bike packing. That's a lot of stuff that fits in the bike. And it's amazing how much stuff, if you have a full frame bag, can fit in that frame bag. Plus, you got the handlebar bag right there. That's typically where like you'd stick your tent, your sleeping bag, day supplies. It's amazing if you really simplify things, how much you don't need every day that you think you do. And a lot of times stuff will serve 2 or 3 purposes. Now that's the setup for bike packing. Here's bike touring. Look at how much more's there. You got some Bedrock sandals right there for camp shoes, which you can totally take bike packing. You want something compact. Bigger sleeping bag, bigger tent, sleeping pad. You've got a MacBook in there and a tablet. There are actually sleeves you can get in bigger panniers, whatever they are. And they actually have sleeves designed for things like laptops, notebooks. All right, Wendy, you're on a roll tonight. Well, let me first catch up with Maya. Maya says, this is still a lot of stuff. Wowers, impressive. Wendy says, right, seems almost like more than I took camping. Wendy, you're definitely the coolest minimalist with this. We talked. All right, a lot more in there. Personal hygiene. I'm definitely on a bike packing trip, not taking a notebook like, say, the MacBook. A little bit bigger camping cooking pot. Doesn't have to go super minimal. And just a whole bunch of supplies right there. And you've got they probably got 3 days worth of clothes, stuff for the bike and the stuff to wear around town. Because let's just say that, well, you've seen people that ride road bikes. A lot of people that do bike touring will wear the same thing with the spandex and the jersey. And when they go to town and they want to stop, go out, get something to eat, they definitely don't want to be wearing that in the restaurant, because this is what people will look like, just like the person next to us at the resource fair. If they're polite enough not to stare. That's an if. But they'll be going, what are they wearing? So you definitely want to have some city clothes. Me, I don't wear the spandex stuff. I just wear like joggers and stuff that can double for the bike and town. I just no with the spandex. Not wearing tight stuff. Okay, enter jokes from Wendy and Maya. And folks, open range on me with that comment. Okay, back to the stuff for bike touring. A lot more gear, more comforts, longer distances. You're assuming you're going to be out a longer time. You can take a little more utensils, personal hygiene products. You don't have to go near as minimal. And it's amazing how much stuff you can fit in slightly larger panniers for bike touring than you can the smaller panniers or even the C-post bag for bike packing. And we are just slamming through the presentation tonight. Okay. We have tips for success, but we're going to come back to that. Now I am going to go right here, and you've seen some of the gear. I'm going to go over the setup, show a little bit what I have. I'm going to give myself about a 10-minute limit here. Folks, set your timer. When I go out to my backyard to what's called the Bike Studio Cam, when I do that, set a timer. Let me know when 10 minutes is up, because we've got 23 minutes left in the show. So with this, I'm going to bring in the bike cam, and I'm going to shut this off. Give me a few seconds. I'm going to go outside, and we're going to go look at those bikes. I didn't think the resolution would be like that, but we'll go with it. All right, folks. I'll be out in bike cam in just a few minutes. Okay. First, the first of the jokes about me and spandex. I don't know about that, but pretty sure I've seen pictures of you and spandex. Wendy, we're talking. All right. I know there's going to be more. I won't be able to see comments too much while I'm outside with the bike studio cam, but I'm heading out there now, folks. See. And let me turn on the outside light for better lighting. Now I can see my ugly face a little bit more. I'm going to turn my hat backward so you can see my face. All right, time to get scary. All right, these are the bikes. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer to show this. Let me unplug it because my phone's been charging. It's been sitting like this since 9:30 tonight, getting everything set up with the lights. Okay. And let me say it where I can see comments. I'm trying to remember how to do this so I can see y'all do that. Okay. Try to keep that going. All right. Now, this is the fat bike. It's got the 3.5-inch wide tires. And this is the gravel bike. This I use for bike touring. And you can probably already see, just like in the pictures we saw in the presentation, the different setups right here. So I'm actually going to get out of the comments so I can see a better image, make sure you got this. Now, this one's got the smaller panniers right here. I've actually got a 20-degree sleeping bag strapped to the back rack right there. And tents right here, small frame bag. And right here, and I'll show close up, is I've got water on the front forks on what's called cages that's strapped to the front fork of the bike. This one's got panniers on the front and the back, and a big, large frame bag that can hold a lot of stuff. That's where I stick my food. So now that I've introduced it, these are my actual setups. This is my actual setup I have when I go bike packing. And a lot of times I'll actually use the mountain bike, not the fat bike. And this one, the gravel bike, I will use for more touring and light bike packing, usually a combination of stuff. So now I'm going to move the camera closer. Work with me with the shaky camera. I don't have like multi-angle stuff where people can see these things. And the phone went down. Gotta love that. Okay. We knew this was going to happen when I bring it around. So I'm going to bring this, experiment with it, so you can get a better view of the bike. Okay. Work with me, folks, here. Okay. Don't you fall down. Okay, you're going to bring it closer. I'm going to lead down to the bike so you can get a good look. I couldn't find my regular tripod, so we're really taking chances on this. Okay. Don't you move, phone. All right. This is totally going to be sinking down, but you got a better view of the bike right here. Here is the back rack where I've got the sleeping bag. It's held on by a bungee net. And I can also stack more on here. I could stick, like, say, camp shoes, typically me Birkenstocks, clogs, or bedrock sandals, what I like on these trips, or just zero shoes, minimalist shoes I'll have on there. That's what I wear most of the time. And in here will be, like, say, I have my camp stove. That's just basically a pot with a pocket rocket stove, an isobutane stove with the canister fuel. Sleeping pad would go right there. I can do one on out here. I try not to make this huge. You want to make it aerodynamic. So super basic gear that goes into these. The frame bag right here. I love this frame bag. In here, I'll stick, like, say, a spare tube for the bike. My food, generally stuff that's heavy, I put in this one in the frame bag. So it's centered and low. That's the big idea, is to keep your load centered and low, your heavier stuff. So I'll stick that in there, some snacks. And on the front over here, we'll take a look. We have my tent that's on a harness on the front handlebars. Remember, these are called flat bars. And these are called feed bags, or front tube bags. And this will stick, like, say, an Algina water, about 1 liter of water, 2 liters. I can also stick a little pocket right here. I can stick GoPros, some electronics, snacks if I want to, on one of these. And here on the front fork right here, I have, and I'll unstrap it right quick. Try not to have the bike fall over. It wants to. With this, I have these on each of the front forks. And this is 1.5 liters. Sometimes you get brave, you can do 2 liters. So I would be able to carry, bikepacking, I could carry one. This would be the equivalent of 3 liters with one of these on each side of the front forks. 3, 4, 5 liters. That's 1.25 gallons of water. Well, let's see. 4 liters to 1 gallon. So that's 4 1/4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 1/4 gallons. Well, 1 1/4 gallons of water right there. That's enough for about a day and a half. And plus, if I was wearing a Camelback backpack, which I was going to have out here, but it's still my house, that's another 3 liters. But when you do that, you want to plan your stops around where water's at. And we're out in the desert, you better plan a well. A lot of times I'll actually go to some places and drop off 1 gallon of water, what's called a water cache, so that I have a place to resupply. If I don't do that, I'm in trouble out in the desert with nothing to drink and make no tea. Anyway, so I can actually carry as much as 5, 6, 7, 8 liters. That's 2 gallons of water. That's actually like 18 pounds of water, 16 or 18 pounds. That's a lot. And that's not common bike packing. You want to make sure you have some reliable water sources, but if you don't, that's what you got to do. But this tells you what kind of weight this can take and how you distribute it. And so there's other stuff you can stick in there, like I'll stick a cell phone, what's called a top tube bag, that normally goes on here, but I've got it on the gravel bike. So that's the basic setup there. Let's see if we got any comments to write in quick. Looks like we got 3 comments, so let me answer some questions. Taco printed spandex. Caroline, don't give me ideas that will give Wendy like 2 years worth of ammo against me. And we also have, I would probably forget which bag on the bike I had stuff in. That happens a lot. Once you get a routine down, you remember this is on the left, this is on the right, panniers, and then you got to remember to put those panniers on the left or right. It is a constant problem. Whatever you want is going to be at the bottom of a bag. That's just Murphy's Law. How heavy is all this stuff? Surprisingly, not that heavy. Typically, base weight without water, which is actually how you count these things. Base without water, less than 20 pounds. Really. Well, probably more like 16 pounds. A lot of the stuff's pretty lightweight. Tents a couple of pounds, sleeping bags like a pound and a quarter. The food, it gets lighter with the water getting the food taken up. And usually I can do as much as 4 days worth of food if I really had to, but typically I do about 3 days worth of food between stops on an extended trip. And so that's what I have it. So the water is what really weighs down the bike. Remember, water weighs about 8 pounds per gallon, and I can carry as much as 2 gallons, which is extreme. But I live in the desert. That's where most of my bike packing's at. But ultimately, it doesn't weigh much. Bike does not weigh much. The heavier the bike, the more it wears down, especially if you go up a hill or do what's called hike a bike and push it up a hill. Not much. So if I remember correctly, you're not wrong. Okay. Yeah, H2O is very important, Maya. And Wendy says, right, I don't think I've had the coordination for that. Okay. All right. Now that we've looked at the basic setup that I have right here for the mountain bike, specifically, remember, this is a fat bike. This is designed for sand or snow. We haven't any snow this winter. Next, we're going to take a look at the gravel bike and that setup right there. So let's move over. Don't tip over, camera. Don't tip over, camera. Okay. And it tipped over. Let's try to do this a little better. It might cooperate. It's going to cooperate. Okay. All right. Here's the setup for this one. I've got the back rack right here, which is the thing that connects right here to the back frame right there. It's got the attachment points. Remember, gravel bikes typically have a lot of attachment points for touring. And these are the panniers. This is called the trunk bag right here. This is actually all one piece. These will fold up into the side of this, and I can just carry around as one bag. Typically, these panniers are actually a bit small for bike touring. I would actually get bigger panniers for this, which is my plan. But as is, these bikes are set. I could ride these off tonight and go on a tour the way they're set right now. All I have to do is just switch around some gear, because a lot of my gear between touring and packing is pretty interchangeable, mainly tent, cooking setup, and stuff like that. But in here, I'd have like a pad, sleeping bag. It would be from touring. I typically don't need a heavier sleeping bag like the 20-degree bag, because I'm not going out like up to the mountains and stuff like that. So a little bit lighter, but I have a little bit more clothes. The frame bag typically, and I love this frame bag. It's huge. This one is actually got a zipper on one side to stick I'll stick books, some printed material if I have to, but tent poles. In here is just one big pocket. This just goes right here. And in here I would stick probably food, because food tends to be heavy. Some electronics in here like that to keep it safe from any rain or moisture. And this is called the trunk. This is actually pretty spacious right here. I could stick as much as a liter container of water. If a collapsible container, I can do 3/4 of a liter in here. So I would stick that. Some extra bulkier, the heavier items I would stick in this part of the frame bag, but this can hold quite a bit. And this is called the top two bags. Typically, I'll put snacks in there, Cliff bars, power bars, whatnot. My phone will actually go in there. And here's another one of those two feed bags that I talked about. Let me turn around. This is the feed bag right here. I've got one just on that one, and notice drop bars on the gravel bike, just different style. And right here is actually my trail mix that I take out riding, because I did about a 60-mile ride today, and I'm doing a 30-mile ride tomorrow. The trail mix. So I'll have that right there. And I just added these. These are wet for some reason. Oh, weird. Anyway, so this right here is the front panniers. These are 5-liter bags. Typically, the rear panniers would be 10. I think those are the current setup's about an 8-liter. 8 or 9 liter bags. These are 5 liters, so I can stick clothes in here. They're kind of relatively light. I don't want a lot of weight on the front. That kind of just can't create. It's crazy how it affects the handling. The panniers on the back would typically be 12 liter for bike touring. Bigger, you can accommodate more, obviously, because you kind of want to take more. You got those luxuries. And what's nice about these is like typically the back panniers will pop right off. Again, that's all one piece right there. But with these, all I have to do is this. And they pop right off. I can take them to camp. If I'm going to a hotel room, it's got straps. I just carry them as one thing. Super easy. And this held on with this brace pretty good. And I actually just put these on tonight, about an hour and a half before the show. I've never fitted these on the bike before. So now I have. What is that? Wetness. Anyway, so that's what I have on this. A bit holds more, but a bit more convenient you can take and packing ability with the gravel bike. I don't have it on here right now, but I would have the handlebar bag, which I would stick cameras, stuff I need during the day, snacks like that. I might stick my trail mix in there and use that for extra water. I can carry water down here. And actually on the stern here, or at the back, it's not a boat, I've got a drinking bottle. I can hold water right here, just from the strap right there. So, and I can actually hold water back here. I can stuff some right there. I can do another drinking bottle on a container right here, just right there. That's called the lower frame. The actual name for it. Not leaving it right now. But that's the setups I have for the 2 bikes for bike touring. Let's go back to the studio. I will end this part. And I'll be back. Give me a few seconds. All right. I'm back. So that was the setups I have for the gravel bike and the mountain bike. That you actually got to see it right there. No, it's not pictures, but what I actually use for these trips. Let's see if we got to catch up any questions here. How much do the bikes weigh without camping gear? The gravel bike's a little heavy. It's an aluminum frame. It weighs probably about 26 pounds. It's a little heavy for that type of bike just because the back tire, that bike, I didn't show it, but it actually does not have a chain with the cassette I explained. It's actually got a belt to it. And the back tire, inside the rim of the back tire, inside it is all the gearing. It's internal. That makes it much more maintenance free than a bike with, like, say, the chain and the derailleur that shifts around the chain on the different cassettes for the different gearing. That's one of the things I loved about it. So it's particularly heavy on the back tire because of all that internal gearing. So about 26 pounds for the bike. The fat bike weighs, I've never really weighed it. Carbon frame, I would guess probably around 14 to 15, 16 pounds. And the full frame mountain bike I have is probably about 24 pounds with everything on it. So most of your road bikes, the more you pay, the lighter they get. But, you know, there's a thing called $100 per ounce. For every ounce you save, you spend an extra 100 or more dollars. At one point, there's a breaking point. Some of these bikes can cost upwards, if you get real fancy bikes, high end, they're costing over $5,000. It's crazy. Some will go for 15. At what point is there too much? I have what I call monetary anaphylaxis. That means if I spend money, I have a severe allergic reaction and I break out in sweats and going and get nervous. So we try to avoid that. We want to try to stay on the budget and spend as little as possible because bikes aren't cheap. But that said, you can get into this with any bike you have. All right, let's finish this off. We've only got a few minutes left. I am running exactly on time where I hope to be. So let's look at the other parts that kind of wind this down. Now, if you want to do this, and I encourage you, it is fun. I really enjoy it. Start with a start small and build experience. Don't do what I did and just go off the middle of the desert down the Colorado River with a raft, because that trip during Thanksgiving 2024 did not go to plan. But I had bailouts. I've done miserable failures and learned from those failures. And I've learned how to failure in smart ways. Test your gear before a big trip. Remember I said, I went riding around Bike Pass and local just to make, and took this thing off some off-road trails, my setup, to make sure that to see the weak points on it, so I wouldn't have that happen on the actual trip and I'll say it, SOL. If you have kids around, parents make up some words. All right. Stay flexible and adapt to conditions. You have to be flexible. You can't just set a rigid schedule and get frustrated that things are gonna happen to set you back, because things will happen to set you back. That's just the reality of this. You can have maintenance problems with the bike, maintenance stuff with your gear, hopefully not epic gear failure, but you just have to roll with it. And didn't mean to make a pun right there. All right. Connect with the bikepacking or bike touring community for advice and support. Visit those bike shops. There are a lot of places have clubs that do this, and you can learn from them. And for some resources I encourage you to look at bikepacking.com. I have scoured the heck out of that site when I first got into this. Still do. Adventure cycling for your bike touring. REI's got people that do this, they're knowledgeable, and they can give you great advice. Local cycling clubs. Let me add bike shops. Local bike shops, not just an REI, can be great advice. And on YouTube, and these are the people I look at the most on YouTube, and let's call it YouTube University. Look up Ryan Van Duzer, Global Cycling Network. They're more about bike touring, but Ryan Van Duzer does both. He does mostly bike packing, and he does some neat stuff, and he offers some great advice. And another one that's not real well known, but I kind of like his cynicism, but he really does some good sage advice that's really grounded, that's very pragmatic, is Everything's Been Done. That's the name of the guy's channel, and he presents things in a pretty unique way. So that's the advice I recommend, the online resources for bike packing. Now, why would you want to get into bike packing? It sounds tempting. You're probably thinking, yeah, that's really cool. Let me see. We got just enough time. This is why you do it. You got to roll with it, because it's something you can experience, and that translates much like my kayak trips, that it's moments like this that you get to experience. These are from my previous trips. You get those what I call moments of affirmation, moments of just a distinct beauty of the moment that you're there and the time. And it's because of your mode of transportation that you do this. And I'm going to give you a moment of Zen. Those are the destinations you can go with the bike, but then sometimes you have just an amazing experience being on the bike. I'm going to show you a clip from, let's see, 2 different trips, and I'll explain it while it happens. But again, moment of Zen. Be patient. This video is about a minute long, but imagine being in the moment with this moment of what I call that moment of beauty, or that moment of affirmation. And I call this moving at the speed of observation. This is descending Cottonwood Road out of Joshua Tree down to the I-10. You in the road, the beautiful desert. And this is riding the fat bike down a dirt road, descending out of Joshua Tree down into the Coachella Valley. Just knee and the crunch of the sand. And that's what I call, folks, you're not in a car going down, you're moving down just you and your own power, gravity right there taking you down a hill, but it's just you and the moment. And that's what I heard. This is not an original quote, but I absolutely loved it when I heard it. That with touring on a bike or packing on a bike, you move at the speed of observation. You move slower, you see things, and those two are two highlights. Those two clips are two highlights of my trips. And that's what I have. Why you want just a brief overview of how you can get into bike packing or bike touring. Ultimately, you don't need to go get a specific bike. The bike you have is the bike that will work. And there's a lot of truth to that. Just don't get over ambitious with the environment and try to take a tricycle down that road in the middle of the desert. That might be a bit much. But just to get the touring and light stuff going, easy stuff, the bike you have is the bike will work. And you don't need to get all these fancy panniers, spend a bunch of money. You can go and just throw stuff in a backpack, a hiking backpack, adapt what you got. It's amazing what you can do with some silicone straps, what's called viola straps or whatnot, and what you can fit to your frame. And that's the real old school way to do it. And just to make sure you like it. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get into it. You just got to have a good sense of adventure. And with that, that's my presentation. I'm going to catch up. We're 2 minutes into overtime. I'm going to catch up on viewer comments. And let's see, we have, it's heavy, but it looks very sturdy. Yes, the bikes are pretty sturdy, especially road and gravel bikes. They're going to take more of a pounding. They don't have the shocks, so they're going to have more rigid frames. Mountain bikes are going to have more forgiving frames on that one. Where is your next journey? Let's see. Maya asks, where is your next journey for you and your bike? I got short trips because I got school right now, but seriously, I'm looking at taking a train up to Idaho or North Utah in July for 2 or 3 weeks and go touring up there and take the pack raft and go bike rafting again. It's just so awesome. That's where I'm looking at. I don't know where my next big trip was, but I'm looking at doing a couple weeks somewhere in Idaho into Utah. Don't know how that's going to work yet. Still planning it, still getting ideas. I will be doing Little Purdue Canyon, some pretty adventurous and ambitious overnighters in Anza Borrego, Anza, and what's called Little Purdue Canyon near where I live. The descents from Joshua Tree National Park over the course of about 9 miles, 4,000 feet. And I also have to climb that. I'll probably be doing that in late February or early or to mid-March. So magnificent, breathtaking. And then we have the last comment from Maya. Are there other people bike riding with you or others on that trail? There are people that do those trails. The one I did from Sirocco Summit north of the 10 down to Indio is not a common bikepacking route because it is very difficult. The deep sand, you have to have a specific bike. It is a very difficult overnighter, and I learned that. You can have those magical moments, but I call that trip a $50 trip. I wouldn't give you $1 to repeat, and I've done it twice. I'm a fool for that. I still enjoyed it. All right. Great show, James. Thank you for putting in the work for an informative show. Thank you very much. Now, folks, that's what we have. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, shoot me comments with that, because I know a lot of our viewers see this after we're live, so I can't answer your questions while we do this. But hope you enjoyed it. And now you know a little bit something about it and why I am attracted to it, why I find it so amazing. And hopefully you do too. And with this, Maya says, are there other people that go with you? Not often. I know people that do it, but just nobody local. Doesn't mean there are other groups that do it, just haven't met up yet. But if any of our viewers are interested and like it, get into it. You got a riding partner right here. Okay. With that, we are live again next week. We are live for the next couple of weeks. And Sabea will be back. She definitely will be talking about the tulip needles and her trip to Japan, I'm really looking forward to that. I just love that she was able to join us at the beginning of the show this evening. So we are live. Sabea and I will be both back here live in one place. We have a couple ideas for the show because we may have to move the one we were supposed to have this week to next week. It's going to be awesome. But again, thank you for watching. This has been this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. And now I got to find I can't preload some of these videos. So I actually have to go over to the file and actually look for and play the closing credits. And it's one of those StreamYard updates that's really annoying. So I wish I could preload it, but they'd be weird about this. Okay, folks, get ready to dance with me. I see show close. Where did, oh, come on, StreamYard. Open. What the heck, StreamYard? These are not technical difficulties. It just, so open. What the heck? Okay, working with folks. So I'm working with this. Okay, here we go. All right, folks, get ready to dance with me. Sorry about that delay right there. StreamYard did another update. They do this weekly, and yar. Okay, get ready to dance with me. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Where's the... Okay. We're going to bring that. We're going to play it over here. Okay. 2 over. Now we can dance. Hey, little frustration. Yard. This girl dance. And usually this is the part where Savannah starts shaking her head no because Jar Jar Pickles is on. So we're going to give you, we're not going to deny you that experience. I will be Savannah and James. And this is Jar Jar Pickles. No. This is it. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Ew, I don't like Jar Jar Pickles. And James like, you're too judgmental over this 12-year-old jar of pickles. Not breaking this open. See you all next week.